Lusail Stadium. Lusail Stadium is the centerpiece of the new Lusail City development on the northern edge of Doha on the Persian Gulf coast, roughly 20 kilometers from central Doha and 9 kilometers from the Pearl. Lusail City will be a mixed self-contained development of residences, commerce, and retail in which ultimately 200,000 inhabitants are expected to live. The Red Metro line connects Lusail City with central Doha and Hamad International Airport. Lusail QNB Station. The last on the line, lies right next to the stadium. A tram system connects the stadium with other parts of Lusail. Lusail Stadium, also known as Lusail Iconic Stadium, is a newly built stadium which will serve as the flagship venue of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The stadium formed part of Qatar's World Cup plans as early as 2010 when the bid was first considered. Following the decision to award Qatar the World Cup, a tender process was started for the actual design of the stadium. However, many designs proved unsatisfactory to the organizing committee. In the end, the committee chose a bowl-shaped design inspired by art pieces found across the Arab world. Construction of the stadium started in 2017 and it took 4 years for the stadium to be completed, slightly longer than planned. The official opening of the stadium is planned for 2022. Al Bayt Stadium has a capacity of roughly 60,000 seats, divided over 3 tiers. After the World Cup, the top tier will be removed, reducing capacity to 32,000 seats. During the World Cup, the stadium will host a number of first-round group matches, including the opening match, and a round of 16, quarter-final, and semi-final match. Al Bayt Stadium, also known as Al Khor Stadium, is one of the recently opened new stadiums that was built to serve as a playing venue for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. First plans for Al Bayt Stadium were presented in 2014, and construction of the stadium began in late 2015. The stadium officially opened on the 30th of November 2021 with a first-round group match between Qatar and Bahrain during the 2021 Arab Cup. It also hosted the final of the same tournament, which was won by Algeria. The design of the stadium reflects the inside of a Bedouin tent, colored red, white, and black. These tents, the Beit al-Shawr, are also where the stadium gets its name from. The roof is retractable, opening and closing in 20 minutes. Al Janab Stadium is eligible to host World Cup matches up to the quarter-final. After the tournament, the stadium will be scaled down by removing the second tier to a capacity of 20,000 seats. Al Janab Stadium, also known as Al Wakra Stadium, is a recently opened new stadium in the town of Al Wakra that was built to serve as one of the playing venues of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The stadium was part of Qatar's bid to host the World Cup, and in 2013 definite plans were presented. First preparations to make the site ready for construction were started in 2014, but it took until 2016 for proper construction works to commence. The stadium was scheduled to be completed in the last quarter of 2018, but some delays pushed that back to 2019. Al Janab Stadium officially opened on the 16th of May 2019 with a match between Al Duhail and Al Saad. Al Janab Stadium has been designed by Zaha Hadid Architects. Its design was inspired by the hulls of the traditional Duhail pearl fishing boats, further reflected by the use of timber and traditional materials. The symmetrical roof composed of 3 shells is the standout feature. Following the release of the designs, people soon started noting the resemblance of the roof to female genitalia, but Zaha Hadid denied any comparisons. Ahmed bin Ali Stadium, also known as Al Rayyan Stadium, is one of the playing venues of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. It opened in 2020. The stadium was built in place of the old Ahmed bin Ali Stadium, home of Al Rayyan SC. Initially, the plan was to expand and renovate the existing stadium, but in the end they built a whole new stadium altogether. The last match in the old stadium was played in 2014, following which it got demolished and preparation works for the new stadium started. The final designs were presented in 2015, and foundation work started in late 2016. Ahmed bin Ali Stadium officially opened on the 18th of December 2020 with the Amir Cup final between Al Saad and Al Arabi. A few months later, the stadium was one of the 2 venues, alongside Education City Stadium, of the 2020 FA Club World Cup that was played in early 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It hosted, among others, one of the 2 semi-finals. For the World Cup, the stadium will have a capacity of roughly 40,000 seats. After the World Cup, nearly half of those will be removed again, resulting in a capacity of 21,000. Its standout feature is the facade that incorporates various symbols of Qatari culture and is inspired by the sand dunes of the nearby desert. During the World Cup, the stadium is set to host 5 first-round group matches and 1 round of 16 match. Khalifa International Stadium has been Qatar's principal football stadium since 1976. The stadium was built to serve as the flagship venue for the 1976 Gulf Cup that was held in Qatar. and could initially hold 20,000 spectators. Over the years, the stadium has been upgraded several times, most notably for the 2006 Asian Games, which increased capacity to 40,000 seats. In 2011, FIFA International Stadium hosted multiple matches, including the final between Japan and Australia during the 2011 Asian Cup. FIFA International Stadium has been the standard playing venue of the Qatar national team and has furthermore occasionally hosted international friendlies of other teams such as Argentina and Brazil. When Qatar got awarded the 2022 World Cup in 2010, FIFA International Stadium was naturally proposed as one of the playing venues, though an extensive upgrade was needed. Works on the stadium started in 2014 and included a refurbishment of all stands, additional seating, additional hospitality facilities, and the construction of a large innovative roof membrane that covers 70% of the stadium. The iconic arch of the stadium was replaced with a new one and complemented with a second one. Works were completed in the summer of 2017, which made it the first 2022 World Cup stadium to be finished. In 2019, FIFA International Stadium was the venue of the 2019 IAAF World Championships in Athletics. Education City Stadium, also known as Qatar Foundation Stadium, is one of the playing venues of the 2022 World Cup that will be held in Qatar. It opened in 2020, the third World Cup stadium to be completed. Plans for the stadium were presented as part of Qatar's bid for the World Cup. Ground preparation works were started in 2014. But it took until the end of 2016 for actual foundation works to start. The stadium was first expected to be completed in 2019, which got delayed to 2020. It officially opened on the 15th of June 2020 with a special TV program to celebrate the opening. The first match was played over a month later on the 3rd of September. Education City Stadium is designed to reflect a diamond in the desert. The stadium will have a capacity of roughly 40,000 seats. After the tournament, the capacity will be reduced in half to 20,000 seats. During the 2022 World Cup, the stadium will host 5 first-round group matches, 1 round of 16 match, and 1 quarter-final. Education City Stadium was one of the 2 venues of the 2020 FIFA Club World Cup, which due to the COVID-19 pandemic was played in early 2021. It, among others, hosted the final between Bayern Munich and Tigers UANL. Stadium 974, earlier known as Ras Abu Aboud Stadium, is one of the newly built playing venues of the 2022 World Cup. Construction of the stadium started in 2018 and was completed 3 years later. The stadium officially opened on the 30th of November 2021 with the Arab Cup group match between United Arab Emirates and Syria. The stadium is made of modular building blocks including shipping containers. After the World Cup, it will be entirely dismantled and repurposed. During the World Cup, Stadium 974 will host 5 first-round group matches and a round of 16 match. It received its name from the fact that 974 is the international calling code of Qatar, and as well as that 974 shipping containers were used in the design. Al Thumama Stadium is one of the newly built stadiums for the FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Construction of the stadium began in 2017 and took over 4 years. Al Thumama Stadium officially opened on the 22nd of October 2021 with the 49th Amir Cup final between Al Sadd and Al Rayyan. The stadium's circular design has been inspired by the ghafiya, the traditional woven cap that is commonly worn by men across the Middle East. During the World Cup, Al Thumama Stadium will host 5 first-round group matches, 1 round of 16 match, and 1 quarter-final. The stadium is also one of the playing venues of the 2021 Arab Cup. After the World Cup, capacity will be reduced to 20,000 seats by removing the upper tier.